Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवत
जय।
जय। कृष्णा तुम्हें
Hare Krishna.
कृष्णा जय।
Hare Krishna.
Right, I think Sachin is coming late from the work, so we'll be joining tomorrow. Then we'll get you started. So yesterday we completed chapter 5th of Canto 5. Yeah, as we know, there are 12 cantos. We are on Canto 5th, 5th Skan. And in this, yesterday we completed chapter 5, which was about Lord Ṛṣabhadeva's teachings to his sons. So as we know how he went to his sons and all the Brahmins and then gave the transcendental message, right? So today we'll start chapter 6, which is the activities of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva. So let's read this. Ajay. So this is a summary. We'll read the summary first.
Sure. The chapter tells how Lord Ṛṣabhadeva left his body. He was not attached to his body even when it was being burned up in the forest fire. When the seed of fruitive activity is burned by the fire of knowledge, the spiritual properties and mystic powers are automatically manifest. Yet Bhakti Yoga is not affected by these mystic powers. An ordinary yogi is captivated by mystic powers and his progress checked. Therefore, a perfect yogi does not welcome them. Because the mind is restless and undependable, it must remain always under control. Even the mind of the advanced yogi Ṛṣabhari created such a disturbance that he lost his yogic mystic power. Due to restless mind, even a very advanced yogi can fall down. The mind is so restless that it induces even a perfect yogi to be controlled by the senses. Therefore, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, for the instructions of all yogis, showed the process of quitting the body. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
While traveling in South India through the provinces of Karnataka, Konka, Venka, and Kutaka, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva arrived in the neighborhood of Kutakala. Suddenly, there was a forest fire that burned the forest and Lord Ṛṣabhadev's body to ashes. The pastimes of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva as a liberated soul was known by the king of Konka, Venka, and Kutaka. The king's name was Arhat. He later became captivated by the illusory energy, and in this condition, he set forth the basic principles of Jainism. Lord Ṛṣabhadeva set forth the principles of religion that can free one from material bondage, and he put an end to all kinds of ascetic activities. On this earth, the place known as Bharatavarsha was a very pious land because the Supreme Lord appeared there when he wanted to incarnate. Hare Krishna.
The Lord Ṛṣabhadeva neglected all the mystic powers for which the so-called yogis hanker. Because of the beauty of devotional service, devotees are not at all interested in so-called mystic power. The master of all yogic power, Lord Krishna, can exhibit all powers on behalf of his devotee. Devotional service is more valuable than yogic mystic powers. Devotees who are sometimes misled aspire for liberation and mystic powers. The Supreme Lord gives these devotees whatever they desire, but they cannot attain the most important function of devotional service. Devotional service to the Lord is guaranteed for those who do not desire liberation and mystic power. Yeah. So as a summary of this chapter, we'll start with the shlok first. Ajay.
Sure. Shri Ruach Satyamuktam kinviha va ekena manos saadha vishrambhav mano sthanasya shat kirat iv sanganchante. King Parikshit asked Sukdev Goswami, "My dear Lord, for those who are completely pure in heart, knowledge is attained by practice of Bhakti Yoga, and attachment for fruitive activities completely burned to ashes. For such people, the power of mystic yoga automatically arise. They do not cause distress. Why then did the Ṛṣabhadeva neglect them?" Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Parikshit now is saying that while Lord Ṛṣabhadeva neglected all the mystic powers, he already had the mystic powers, right? So why did Lord Ṛṣabhadeva then didn't care for the mystic power? So that's the question which is being asked, right? It's Tarun.
Shirvacha Satyam Uktam Kintva Vya Iha Va Eke Na Manaso Tadda Vishrabham Anavasanasya Satakirta Iva Sangachante. Srila Sukadeva Goswami replied, "My dear king, you have spoken correctly. However, after capturing animals, a cunning hunter does not put faith in them, for they might run away. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life do not put faith in the mind. Indeed, they always remain vigilant and watch the mind's action." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Also, in purport it says that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Yagna dhan, Yagna dan tapah karma na tyajam karyam iva tata yagno danam tapascheva pavanani manishinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. Yeah, so just quoting from Bhagavad Gita that even the great souls who have become Mahatmas, they still should continue the act of sacrifice and charity and pasya. Ajay?
Tatha choktam na kuryat kahirchis sakhyam manasi hanvasthite yadvi shambhachirachirnam cha skand tab ashwaram. All the learned scholars have given their opinion. The mind is by the nature very restless and one should not make friends with it. If we place full confidence in the mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva became agitated upon seeing the Mohini form of Lord Krishna, and Saubhari Muni also fell down from the mature stage of yogic perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah, like basically, man chanchal hai. That's what is being mentioned the mind by nature is very restless. Yeah. Now it says the first business of one trying to advance in spiritual life is to control the mind and senses. Yeah. But since it's not easy, that's why the chanting and devotional service can take care of that. Yeah. Hello?
Nityam dadati kamasya chidram tam anuye rahiyasya yoginih kritmetrasya pratyujaryeva pumskal pushanjali. An unchaste woman is very easily carried away by paramours. It sometimes happens that her husband is violently killed by her paramours. If the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, and greed, and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. कामो मनुन्मदो लोभः शोकमोह भयादयः कर्मबन्धक्षयन्मूलः श्रीकुर्योतको नो तदबुधः. The mind is the root cause of lust, anger, pride, greed, lamentation, illusion, and fear. Combined, these constitute bondage to fruitive activity. What learned man would put faith in the mind? So basically, because of mind, is the root cause for calm, yeah, lobha, shok, moha, bhai, yeah, all that, and all that is caused by mind. So putting faith in mind is not really advised from the spiritual perspective. Yeah. Yeah. It also says like, so what is the best way, right? So the best way to control the mind is to engage it always in Krishna consciousness. Sevai manah Krishna padar vindo dayo hai. Since the followers of the mind bring about material bondage, we should be very careful not to trust the mind, but to engage the mind, yeah, follow the Krishna consciousness. Ajay?
अथैव मखिल्लोक पाललो मो अपि विलक्षणैर्जडवधूत वेश भाषा चरितैर्विलक्षित भगवत प्रभावो योगिनां सांपराय विधि मनुशिक्षयन् स्वकलेवरं जिहासुरात्मनां सव्यवहित मंथार्थ भावेनान्विष्माण उपरानिवृत्ति रूप raram. Lord Ṛṣabhadeva was the head of all kings and emperors within the universe, but assuming the dress and language of an avdhut, he acted as if dull and materially bound. Consequently, no one could observe his divine opulence. He adopted this behavior just to teach yogis how to give up the body. Nonetheless, he maintained his original position as a plenary expansion of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Remaining always is that in that state he gave up his pastime as Lord Ṛṣabhadeva within the material world. If following in the footsteps of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, one can give up his subtle body, there is no chance that one will accept material body again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, the message is, if someone follows the footsteps of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, he can easily go back to Godhead, right? Because he'll easily give up the shuttle body along with the gross body. Tasya heva evam muttalingasya bhagavata ऋषभस्य योग maya vasenaya dehe imam jagatim abhimana bhasena sankraman manah Odakam Vedaka Kutakan Dakshina Karnatakan Deshan Yadricha Yoga Patah Kutika Chalopavan Ashakridashma Kaval Unmad Ev Mukta Murdhajoga Samvitam Ev Vichar. Actually, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva had no material body. But due to Yog Maya, he considered his body material. And therefore, because he played like an ordinary human being, he gave up the mentality of identifying with it. Following this principle, he began to wander all over the world. While traveling, he came to the province of Karnat in South India and passed through Konka, Venka and Karak. He had no plan to travel this way, but he arrived near Kutakachala and entered a forest there. He placed stones within his mouth and began to wander through the forest naked and with his hair disheveled like a madman. Tarun?
Atha Samira Vega Viduta Venu Vikarsana Chatogra Avalanasa Davana Las Tad Vanam Alelihana Sahatena Dadaha. While he was wandering about, a wild forest fire began. The fire was caused by the friction of bamboos, which were being blown by the wind. In that fire, the entire forest near Kutakachala and the body of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva were burnt to ashes. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Hare?
Sure. Ath Samir. Oh, do I need to read the?
Yes, that Tarun already read that. So,
Okay, sorry. Such a forest fire can burn the external bodies of the animals, but Lord Ṛṣabhadeva was not burned. Although he apparently seemed so, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is the super soul of all living entities within the forest, and his soul is never burned by fire. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Adhyo Yam, the soul is never burned by fire. Due to Lord Ṛṣabhadev's presence, all the animals in the forest were also liberated from material engagement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yasya kilanvacharitam parkanya kodakavedakakutanam rajarhanamo pakshisha kalavardham utkrishyamane bhavittavena vimohita swadharma patham kuto bhaya mahapapaya haya kupatapakanda samanjasham nijmanishaya manda samapravartayishyate. Sukdev Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. My dear king, the king of Konka, Venka and Katak, whose name was Arhat, heard of the activity of Ṛṣabhadeva and imitating Ṛṣabhadev's principles, introduced a new system of religion. Taking advantage of Kali Yuga, the age of sinful activity, King Arhat, being bewildered, gave up the Vedic principles, which are free from risk, and concocted a new system of religion opposed to the Vedas. That was the beginning of the Jain Dharma. Many other so-called religions followed this atheistic system. Yeah. So like this is when the Jain Dharma started. Like when the Lord Ṛṣabhadeva was actually giving message of devotional service, right? But after Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, the king of these areas, Arhat, he started a new system of religion, which is which resulted in the Jain religion. Yeah. Ajay?
Sure. Yen havav kalo manuja pasda dev maya mohita swa vidhini योग शौच चरित्र विहीना देव हेलना नान्य पवित्र नानि निज निजेच्छया गृहाना अस्नाना नाना चम चमना शौच केल शोलु ज्वा नादीनी कलिना धर्म बहुलेनो पहत धियो ब्रह्म ब्राह्मण यज्ञ पुरुष लोक विदूषका प्रायेण भविष्यन्ति. People who are lowest among the men and bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord will give up the original Vanashram Dharma and its rules and regulations. They will abandon bathing 3 times daily and worshipping the Lord. Abandoning cleanliness and neglecting the Supreme Lord, they will accept nonsensical principles. Not regularly bathing or washing their mouths regularly, they will also always remain unclean and they will pluck out their hairs. Following a concocted religion, they will flourish. During this age of Kali, people are more inclined to irregular systems. Consequently, these people will naturally deride Vedic authority. The followers of Vedic authority, the Brahmanas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Varun?
ते च है अर्वक्तक न नया निज लोक यात्र यांध परम प्रायस्वस्थस तमस्य अंधे स्वयमेव प्रतिष्ठयन्ति. Low-class people, due to their gross ignorance, introduce a system of religion that deviates from the Vedic principles. Following their own mental concoctions, they automatically fall down into the darkest regions of existence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ayam avataro rajsu palut kevalyopakshikshanartha. In this age of Kali, people are overwhelmed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Lord Ṛṣabhadeva incarnated himself to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Nice purport. Let's read this, Arun.
The symptoms of Kali Yuga are predicted in the 12th canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lavanyam Kesa Dharanam. It is predicted how fallen souls will behave. They'll keep their hair long and consider themselves very beautiful. Or they'll pluck out their hair as the Jains do. They'll keep themselves unclean and will not wash their mouths. Jains refer to Lord Ṛṣabhadeva as their original preceptor. If such people are serious followers of Ṛṣabhadeva, they must also take his instructions. In the 5th chapter of this canto, Ṛṣabhadeva gave his 100 sons instructions whereby they could become free from the clutches of Maya. If one actually follows Ṛṣabhadeva, he will certainly be delivered from the clutches of Maya and return home, back to Godhead. If one strictly follows the instructions of Ṛṣabhadeva given in the 5th chapter, he will certainly be liberated. Lord Ṛṣabhadeva incarnated specifically to deliver these fallen souls. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So I think one very interesting point which is mentioned, right? Like sometimes it's believed that Jain religion started from Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, right? But what is being mentioned is if Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is the original preceptor, then the king who created this religion should have actually followed the Lord Ṛṣabhadev's teachings. And the teaching of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is none other than devotional service to Vasudeva, Lord Krishna. But they just deviated from that, right? And then, they believe in, of course, the Brahma, realization of Brahma, but then they don't go above that in devotional service, right? Is what is being mentioned here. Okay?
तस्यानुगुणान् श्लोकान् गायन्ति अहो भुव सप्त समुद्रवत्या द्वीपेषु वर्षेष्वधिपु पुण्यमेतत् ज्ञानन्ति यत्र 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 यजनां मुरारे कर्माणि भद्राणि वतारवन्ति. Learned scholars chant about the transcendental qualities of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva in this way. Oh, this earthly planet contains 7 seas and many islands and lands, of which Bharatvarsh is considered the most pious. People of Bharatvarsh are accustomed to glorifying the activities of Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnations as Lord Ṛṣabhadeva and others. All these activities are very auspicious for the welfare of humanity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. अहो नुवंशो यशसावदातः प्रियवर्तो यत्र पुमान पुराणः पितावतारः पुरुषः स आद्य स्वचार धर्मं यद कर्म हेतुम्. Oh, what shall I say of the dynasty of Priyavrat, which is pure and very much celebrated? In that dynasty, the Supreme Person, the original personality of Godhead, descended as an incarnation and executed religious principles that could free one from the results of fruitive activity. Yeah. Says the incarnation of original personality of Godhead. Says Purusha Sa Adya. Adya is the original personality, avatar of original personality. Also, as you know, right, there are many dynasties in human society wherein the Supreme Lord descends as an incarnation. Lord Krishna appeared in the Yadu dynasty. Lord Ramchandra appeared in the Ikshvaku or Raghu dynasty. Similarly, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva appeared in the dynasty of King Priyavrat. All these dynasties are very famous, and of them, the dynasty of Priyavrat is the most famous.
Navya asya kashtam aparo nugachen mano rathanapi abhavasya yogi yo yoga maya spradhyayata yate udhasta ayya asastya ena krata prayantana prayatna. Who is that mystic yogi who can follow the principles of the examples of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva even with his mind? Lord Ṛṣabhadeva rejected all kinds of yogic perfection which other yogis hanker to attain. Who is that yogi who can compare to Lord Ṛṣabhadeva? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Why they are saying that? Because mystic yogis, what is being mentioned, right? The general yogis desire the yogic perfection of Asta Siddhi, right? We must have heard about the Asta Siddhi, like those yogis with the whole meditation and the self-realization, they can attain the Asta Siddhi. And what are those Asta Siddhis? Like anima. Yeah. Like anima is, it's a power of becoming the smallest. Like one can become smallest to smallest is anima, right? Then you have laghima, which is like you can become lightest of the lighter. Now mahima is you can become as big as you want, right? And kamya is like by your will you can be anything, and prapti is you can achieve anything. Then you have ishitva, yeah, which is like supreme power, and vesitva and kama vashayita. So kama vashita is the controlling all the senses, and then right? Vashitva is you can control, you can subdue others, right? So basically those Ashta Siddhi, what yogis desire, like being lightest of lighter, smallest of small, biggest of big, whatever, right? So those are the yogic perfections. So that's why when we see some yogis and they're really powerful, they can actually be powerful and they can do all these mystic yogas. Yeah. But what is being mentioned, right? Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, however, never aspired for all these material things. Like he has not demonstrated those siddhis, even though he had it, yeah, during his message. Such siddhis, perfections, are presented by the illusory energy of the Lord. The real purpose of the yoga system is to achieve the favor and shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this purpose is covered by the illusory energy of Yog Maya. So-called yogis are therefore alert by the superficial material perfections of anima, laghima, prapti, and so forth. Consequently, ordinary yogis cannot compare to Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, what is being mentioned is no yogi can be compared because Lord Ṛṣabhadeva really ignored all those siddhis and totally demonstrated the devotional service, is what is being mentioned. So, iti heshmu sakal vedulok deva brahman gavam param guror bhagavate Ṛṣabhyakasya Vishuddhacaritamiritam pusham Samastaduscharitabiharanam Param Mahamangalayana Midamunushadya Yo Upachitayanu Sunotya Savyati Vavahito Bhagvati Tashpin Vasudeva Ekantato Bhaktir Nayorapi Samo Anuvartate. Sukdev Goswami continued, Lord Ṛṣabhadeva is the master of all Vedic knowledge. Human beings, demigods, cows, and Brahmins. I have already explained his pure transcendental activities, which will vanquish the sinful activities of all living entities. This narration of Lord Ṛṣabhadev's past times is the reservoir of all auspicious things. Whoever attentively hears or speaks of them, following in the footsteps of the Acharyas, will certainly attain unalloyed devotional service at the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. What is being mentioned is, says Bhagavati Tasmin Vasudeva Ekantato Bhaktir Nayorapi Sam Anuvartate. Anyone who is hearing the narration of Lord Ṛṣabhadev's past times, yeah, will certainly attain unalloyed devotional service at the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And again, actually, it's nice purpose. So let's read this through.
The teachings of Lord Ṛṣabhadeva are for the people of all yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and especially Kali Yuga. These instructions are so powerful that even in this age of Kali, one can attain perfection simply by explaining the instructions, following the footsteps of the Acharyas, or listening to the instructions with great attention. If one does so, one can attain the platform of pure devotional service to Lord Vasudeva. The pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees are recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam, so that those who recite these pastimes and listen to them will become purified. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. As a matter of principle, devotees should read, speak, and hear Srimad Bhagavatam persistently, 24 hours daily if possible. That is the recommendation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kirtaniya Sada Hariha. One should either chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or read Srimad Bhagavatam and thereby try to understand the characteristics and instructions of the Supreme Lord, who appeared as Lord Ṛṣabhadeva, Lord Kapila, and Lord Krishna. In this way, one can become fully aware of the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one who knows the transcendental nature of the Lord's birth and activities attains liberation from material bondage and returns to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. Essentially, what is being mentioned is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah. Anyone who recites the pastimes and listens to them will get purified, because this is the katha about Bhagwan, right? It's a pure devotional service. And yeah, so it says the devotee is the chant or read Srimad Bhagavatam. Is what is being mentioned. So actually we have a couple of more shlokas. But let's pause here. I think we'll, there are only few shlokas remaining in this chapter. So we'll complete this tomorrow. Yeah. And let's hear the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya by Pandit Jasai. I think we also heard it before. But let's hear it again. So we'll hear it for around 6 to 7 minutes. And then we'll continue hearing it tomorrow. Yeah.
With 1.2 million customers globally, we've provided innovation and expertise for over 100 years to drive industrial businesses forward, helping deliver new industrial solutions together. The most important part we provide is partnership.
Right? Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ṛṣabhadeva.
Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you. So, we are just about to complete Dhyayi 6th of Canto 5th. So, we'll do that tomorrow. And we'll continue hearing this very beautiful, blissful bhajan, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah. So, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. 10 p.m. EST. And Rasikshan Prabhu will see you 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.